Hey everyone! Someone suggested I do a gear showcase video on my Adele here. I am a free-to-play regular server player, and it is also Shining Starforce Sunday, so I figure what better day to do a gear showcase to also talk about the gains that I got. Long story short, I got everything to 20 stars at least. I gained about 3,500 strength. I gained a bunch of attack. It was really, really good. So let's start with just a preface. I buy all of my gear from the auction house with the potentials as finished as possible. The Starforce, if it's high, great, if I have the money to afford something that's high Starforce, but I mostly look at the auction house and I say, I want to buy something that has good main potential and good bonus potential, because I ain't swiping my credit card to buy cubes. So that was priority number one in buying all of this gear. I did not make, I don't think, a single item of this gear other than my heart and my secondary and my emblem. So just to get that out of the way here. So let's look at weapon, secondary, emblem first, because they give the most benefit here. The weapon is what I had purchased first for my first major item in this game. I lucked out. A friend helped me find it in the auction house. He was hawking it like every day a couple times. Really appreciate that. And I will never put this over 17 star because I plan to liberate one day. I just cleared my hard will last night actually, so I'm only a few months out. So eventually I'll sell this off, and the crit rate and the bonus potential is actually getting use because Adele does need a source of crit rate somewhere, whether it's on, you know, a weapon, secondary, whatever, or your hyperstat, or, you know, wherever you end up getting it. So technically for me, this is a 6-line weapon currently, but once my Legion's high enough, I'll probably be able to drop that extra line of crit rate, because I'll just have the blocks for it in the Legion grid. My secondary, I bought it for the main potential. It had a rare or an epic bonus potential when I got it, and on a miracle time, I had enough mesos to convert to maple points to get some bonus cubes. So I tapped it up and got it to legendary, and was like, great. And then a friend of mine had like one event cube left over and was like, hey, toss me that secondary of yours. And he one-tapped the bonus potential to 2-line attack with the strength per 10 character levels. So that was really cool. It was like right before we did a hard will run. And so obviously it could be better because it has that all stats line and it has the strength per 10 character levels, but this has served me quite well. You know, one day if I end up min-maxing, I'll buy a 6-line attack one or whatever ends up being the most beneficial to me. So that's my secondary. My emblem, very free to play, 2 lines on the main potential, 1-line attack on the bonus potential. The 4% IED is something on the bonus potential, but it's obviously not as good as like an attack percent line. So this item is in need of the most help, but it's untradeable and I can't buy one from the auction house. So I was like, this is good enough. I'm gonna focus on my other shit. Let's talk about my totems here. So I have, if you were around for the Misty Island event, I personally thought it was one of the most fun, unique events that I've experienced in this game to this date. It wasn't just like, hey, go kill 3,000 mobs every day, ho ho ho. It was actually kind of awesome. Like, it was very time consuming, don't get me wrong, but I had a lot of fun with it. And on my first flame, I got this 6% 33 roll, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing any of the achievements for extra flames. So I settled pretty early, and I'm pretty happy with that decision. I am still using this goo totem, and I am using a hospital director's totem, which a friend did give me when I was starting out. So these are not best in slot totems, but I was like, they're good enough for now, because I didn't have totems before. Pink Holy Cup is 5% all stat, 60 flat strength, and the 20 dex. Secondary stat does add up, so that secondary stat line is quite nice to have and see, although obviously if it was more strength or an attack line it'd be better. Crystal Ventus badge, we don't really need to talk about. I could replace it with a 7-day Monster Park badge because I have the auction house. I could buy all those badges up, but I just don't think it's worth the mesos, so I've just been sitting on this badge. 7-day Monster Parker is the medal I am using. The 10% IED is nice with the other stats, but yeah, this is probably never going to be replaced unless they come out with something crazy in an event. And I am using the Yeti Pink Bean title here, so that one's been quite nice to have. The 10 boss, the 20 stat, and the 10 attack there. Dawn Guard, so all of my gear's 20 star at least, except for the weapon here now, thanks to Shining Starforce, except my heart, because it only goes to 15. My heart is something I've been trying to replace for like at least 4 or 5 months. If you have a strength heart for sale that's scrolled really well for attack, please let me know. I'll buy it in Bara, because no one puts fairy hearts or titanium hearts that are good in the auction house for strength at all, ever. So I'd very much appreciate that if you reached out to me at this web zone. Thank you. Please get in touch. My Dawn Guardian Angel Ring, when I was Starforcing it yesterday, blew up a few times, so I had to buy a few replacements. It is ICOG'd for a little bit extra attack here, and the main pot's awesome. The beat pot, I rolled. It's really awesome. You know, I got lucky on the 8% strength, I think. And the, yeah, so I was Starforcing this, and I went to the Slime Town, Rararumu. I always forget the name of that town. Fuck, what is it? Ramu. So I went to Ramu, and as I was like buying the Dawn Scrolls, as I was buying slime rings from the auction house to use as fodder, someone else like popped in and was doing the same thing, and I saw them using the scrolls. So we had a little slime ring pile going on in the Ramu map there, so that was fun. The other part of the Dawn set here, I've got a Twilight Mark. It is scrolled for premium accessory attack with those event scrolls. My Twilight Mark didn't blow up at all. It just went right to 20. Very nice. And again, I buy items for potential, but no one does B-pots on Twilight Marks unless they're like incredibly expensive, because it's a non-tradable item currently. I know they are fixing that and making these items in the Dawn set tradable a few times. So maybe if there's a better Twilight Mark in the auction house in the future, I'll consider replacing this if it has bonus potential, but I am not going to be rolling bonus potential on this more than likely in the near future. We have a Superior Golux ring. This also did not blow up yesterday. Nothing much to see here. 27% main pot, 4% strength, and 2 lines of attack on the B pot. I bought the potential as is. I didn't work on it at all other than Starforce. Reinforced ring, same deal. I only worked on the Starforce. This also did not blow up. I was very happy. And, you know, the main pot's only 24%, and some of you might say, oh, it sucks, it's 24%, but I don't care. It's really good. This is a really good item. My Meister ring, I was bullied into tapping to 21 stars, so I have a 21 star Meister ring. It is also the only thing I worked on was Starforcing. It blew up like 2 times, and 20 to 21. One of my friends was in Hard Lotus as he was like bullying me to tap this. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Oh, it didn't go. I'm gonna do it again. Oh, it didn't go. And it just went on for like 6 taps, and he was just like freaking the fuck out, and he died so he could like watch my stream of me tapping it. Oh, it was really funny. But yeah, so the B-pot's whatever, but it has a 5% strength line, so, you know, I'm happy. Both of my pendants, I think I had 4 total pendant explosions between my 2 Golux pendants here. I know double Golux isn't necessarily meta, but it's what I've got. So they're pretty well flamed. I bought them for the flame and the potential. One of them I bought off of a friend a while ago, the other I bought out of the auction house. And yeah, so they're both 27% main pot. They've got 2% lines in the B pot, and I'm quite satisfied with these pendants here. I'll probably replace one of them one day with a, whatchamacallit. When I eventually have more mesos than I know what to do with, I will replace with a Source of Suffering. But until that day comes, which is very far off in the future, we're double Goluxing. Weapon we talked about. My belt blew up like 6 times or 7 times. This was the most pain in the butt item I had to get to 20 stars. Again, it's a 24% main pot item. The B pot has 1 line of strength. The flame could be a little bit better. You know, it's only 48 flat. There's no percent there. So whenever I get like a free black flame, I throw it on here, hoping for a little bit of a better flame. But Golux is such a pain in the butt to flame that I've just kind of like settled on this. So I might eventually just buy a replacement for this one day and just resell. But it's worked quite well. My hat just went straight to 20 stars. Really, really nice. I do use Absolab armor currently. I plan to replace it with Eternals when it becomes as common as CRA equipment, because especially when 6th job comes out, Kalos is going to just explode so much so often that I'll just wait for Eternal items to become very cheap. So yeah, we're holding off on doing any kind of major upgrades to my CRA or my Absolabs. I probably won't upgrade to Arcanes until I can just jump straight from Absolab to whatever is after Arcanes for everything in the Eternal set when it's cheap. So kind of holding off there. So Absolab, Night Helm, awesome flame, 5% 70. It is only a 2-second cooldown skip hat. The main pot and the B pot, you know, I'm pretty satisfied with it. It could be a little bit more cooldown skip. Adele does like that, but I've gotten by with just the -2 and then the Mercedes blocks on my Legion. So obviously I could have a little bit more DPS with a little bit more cooldown skip because it's just really, really good. But I'm okay at the moment. Sweetwater Monocle, again, same kind of situation as my Twilight Mark. I bought it for the main pot. The flame could be a little better. The B pot's rare. Not swiping my credit card, but it is at least scrolled for premium attack scrolls on the event shop, so it's at least got that much going for it. It's not transposed. Not that you can really do much with transposition these days. So I didn't get like a godly flame on it or anything like that, but it has served me well. All of these items have served me well. My CRA top I purchased at 21 stars. I did not tap it to 21 stars. I did pretty much no work on this item at all. Reasonable flame here. Potential 24% main pot. B pot 8%. So, you know, could be higher on the percent strengths, but still really, really good. And again, whenever you get an all stats line, you are getting the strength out of it still, but you're also getting your secondary stat out of it. So it's more beneficial than just a 6% strength line is how I look at it. You know, not like that much more, but it does add up. My pants blew up a lot. They were probably the second worst item that I Starforced yesterday, aside from my belt. So I think I blew up like 6 pairs of pants. Granted, the pants are pretty free if you have CRA tickets, which I have like infinite of currently. And the flame I need to work on still. It's not got any percent on it right now. So I've been also trying to black flame this since I bought it recently. So between my belt and my pants, those 2 items need some flame work. Maybe with the event shop flames I'll get lucky. But it's pretty good, 27% and 5% plus 16 in the B pot there. My shoe, I don't know how it's scrolled. It scrolled for some kind of attack. That's all I know. And my shoe blew up only a couple times. The flame is godly. And the main pot is awesome. B pot is awesome. So really satisfied with this shoe. My earring, its flame could also use a little bit of work to get some flat stat on it, but at least it's got the 4% there. And I was really lucky to find this in the auction house one day. It was super dirt cheap. It was like 12 bill. And I saw the B pot and I was like, I'm buying that. I don't care if it's not percent strength. It's basically 6 lines of strength for me. So could be better if obviously with percent strength lines, but I was like, holy crap, that's so cheap. I'm gonna just buy that. My shoulder, I had no trouble tapping up. Not much to say about the shoulder here. And it's just a good, it's just a good item. My gloves, I bought at 22 stars. The flame is a flat 105. could have some percent in there, so I could work on it, but it's honestly, like, been fine. So my glove is a weird situation. So I understand that getting a 2-line crit damage glove is, like, insanely good, but hear me out. So I got this glove pretty cheap, and I needed some kind of help in my V matrix at the time. So I was like, this has decent sharp eyes, great, I'm gonna just pick that up. And then it also had the 7% in the main pot, and the B pot was reasonable, and it was 22 stars already. So I was like, I'm just gonna get this out of the auction house and into my inventory as soon as I can. Eventually my glove probably needs to get replaced with a 2-line crit damage on the main pot, but it is what it is currently right now. It's been my best item for a very long time, and I love it. Having decent sharp eyes is really, really nice. Saves me a slot. And then there's my cape. So my cape is really good. I bought it off of a friend who quit a while back, who may be coming back now. Are you coming back? Let me know if you're actually coming back. I've seen you around a little bit. Yeah, so I really like the sword that it's anviled with. It just adds to my collection of a bunch of swords that I have going on here. I wish I could have a secondary that was a sword as well, just pointing out, but I cannot do that, unfortunately. But yeah, it's pretty good. The main pot is as perfect as you can get it without rolling crazy violet cubes or whatever for 3 lines of 13% strength. And the B pot's quite reasonable too here, so really like this cape, and I like the aesthetic, and it belonged to a good friend of mine, so I like it a lot. Now, that's my gear. Again, please reach out to me if you have a better heart. I would love to buy it. Familiars setup. I do have some legendary familiars I bought out of the auction house. I need to re-roll them with red cards, but I also need to save up maple points for rolling potentials on my Genesis weapon in the future. So my familiars could use a little work, but they're still pretty good here. So I'm using a 40% boss, 9% strength familiar on my bossing setup, 30 IED plus 5 strength, and 40% boss familiar. So that's the 3 I typically run with in a I need to do damage scenario. Now I will switch out one of these familiars for a double healing line that I have here, a large HPMP and regular HPMP line here, when I'm doing like Vihila, for example. But in Will Phase 2, I will run with that double line healer. I've got another line of large healing that stacks with this line of healing, and I've got a 20% IED and a small HP MP healing familiar that I'll have on here on my healers setup as well. So that's my other setup here for familiars. And now I also have a large drop rate familiar, if we're going to start talking about my drop gear. So I have a tattoo, I have a monocle for drop, I have 4 event rings for drop rate, I've got an earring and 2 pendants here for drop rate. My greed pendant's got drop rate on it. So I've got, you know, with all of my stuff and holy symbol on, 300% drop rate-ish. And if I use a Legion and a Wealth Pot, I'm up to 370 something. So really what I'm looking for right now in terms of item drop rate is I need one of these items to be 20% drop rate. So I've got this extra event ring here. I was going to try to roll that with event cubes when I had extra event cubes. So hopefully I get a 2-line drop rate to upgrade one of these rings one day. That would be really nice. Meso gear. I've got a Meso plus item drop combination event ring, Meso plus strength, Meso plus all stat, Meso plus all stat, and 17 starred. And then, not on this character currently, I have a VIP pendant that has Meso on it that's 17 star. I also have a Superior Golux ring that is on a mule right now that has Meso on it. So I'm set on in terms of 100% Meso, but if I ever train this character again, I probably can't wear Meso gear unless I get a lot stronger because, and at least in terms of Sacred Force, because Odium is just a struggle to one-shot on maps I would want to train at currently. Sacred Force, I'm at 250 currently. Surname's max, but I've been working on a second symbol to eventually transfer because they announced that you can do that in the future. So I'll pass that off to a mule one day. I still do the quests for EXP. Arcus is getting up there, Odium's getting up there. You know, those will obviously take a while to max out. Maxed out Arcane Force here, so that's really nice. I do have a Ring of Restraint 3 that I will swap in place of my Meister Ring because that is the ring that gives me the least range increase currently. So if I'm in most bosses, I'll just have it on permanently. I don't ring swap in the middle of bosses. Yeah, the Ring of Restraint 3 has been quite nice in certain scenarios, especially Lucid Phase 3. It's been just a pleasure to use that in. Do we have any other gear to really talk about here? I don't think so. I think we've sort of covered everything. Yeah, so a lot of Shining Starforce gains in summary. Got everything to at least 20 stars except for my weapon, which I don't plan on tapping because of the Genesis weapon that's coming in. And that's all my drop gear, my Meso gear and such. And I hope that you all have good luck on this Shining Starforce. If today wasn't your day, I know your day is going to come soon in the next Shining Starforce. And keep at it, don't give up. And I'll see you in the next video, everybody. Thanks for watching and take care.